Alrighty, what is going on, Saints fans? Who Dat Nation? It's another episode of Full Press Saints, brought to you by Full Press Coverage. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at SaintsFPC. Once again, it is your host, Alec, with not the most, but definitely something in the tank, to say the least. Once again, jump on my good friend, co-host Dayton, always here with me. Dayton, how you doing today, sir?
What's going on? Hey, good to be here. I'm doing well. Beautiful day here in the Pacific Northwest, enjoying the spring weather. I hope everybody listening is having a great day too, and got a lot to talk about. I'm excited to be back on the podcast.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it's just life, dude. Life hits us all different directions.
Yep.
Doing our best to get content out for you guys, so appreciate everybody, being patient and, just tuning in. I believe we're almost at 10,000 total downloads through our first, let's be 9, so
Nice.
Hey.
Awesome.
Yeah,
thank you for the support.
Exactly. Thank you guys for the support and listening. All that's super important. And really couldn't do this without you guys first. So appreciate that. We're just trying to just trying to talk Saints and people. That's all we want to do. So Dayton, I think let's just start us off with some news. Well, not news, but just some things that have happened today in the world of Saints Twitter. I won't get into names or specifics. Nonetheless, a guy we all thought was a good person really was not a good person. Made some, racial anti-Semitic tweets. And look, that's nothing. Neither one of us, it should be condoned 100% as it should, right?
Yes.
Yes. So.
And there was also an incident not too long ago with the same person where a lot of red flags were thrown up, but everybody got over that. And then now something comes out where you just can't really forgive stuff like that. So,
and said person showed a real lack of accountability.
Yes. So, and big shout out to, I'm sorry. Say his last name for me real quick, Chris.
That's exactly why I had him say it on when he was on with us.
He says it so perfectly every time I hear it, and then
I'm gonna just do my best Ryan impression. Rogo Solo, the Scooby-Doo. I don't know.
Oh boy! But anyway, shout out to Chris.
For real.
For what he did involving the situation, because he was put into a spot that none of us would want to be in. Yeah. And what I will say, last thing before we get on, or last thing I'll say about the situation is the bracket started all this.
Yep.
And whether for the good or for the bad, I think it's for the good overall. I mean, a lot of people are upset that certain people went in and dug up all of these tweets, but I think that it served a good purpose overall after everything. And yes, and we need we need Ryan on the show.
No, that would be legendary status right there.
Absolutely legendary,
to say the least. I'll just say this, guys. I myself have, plenty of lesbian, gay friends, black friends. The things that this person put out, obviously, he showed no remorse, no lack of accountability or respect for these people or groups that he offended, and rightfully so. You should be, looked at differently, and kind of given them the stank eye too, rightfully so. And shout out to Chris for quickly jumping on it here, and also to Book Media for really kind of stepping up doing their part too.
Yeah.
And there are tons of great people you guys can follow me besides said person. There's Chris, there's Ross Jackson, there's Amy, Kat, Larry, Mike. There's so many other great Saints sources for news, and Nick Underhill, one of the best to do it. So look, just be better, show that accountability for yourself and what you put out there, because people can't find it, and it's not hard to find those things. So
yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And shout out Nick, also guy would love to have on the show. He came on the Who Dat Dish podcast a couple years ago, and he was great. It was like right before, it was like a few months before he went back to the Patriots, and then luckily made his return to New Orleans. So it was freaking awesome to have him on the show. But yes, there's a majority of Saints Twitter, even though we talk about how crazy it gets and how cutthroat it can be, I would say 90% at least is filled with just awesome, amazing, good people that have good content, and even if they don't make any content, their tweets themselves make for some great content. So exactly. and we follow a lot of you guys, and you guys follow us, and it's all one big happy family for the most part. So don't let that distract you from.
Exactly.
Don't let today's incident distract you from.
Exactly. 100%. There may be one bad apple, but there are plenty of better looking, tastier apples in the tree. I guess that's it works. So, so we try to get that out there today for everybody to listen. So,
now on to positive things.
Now let's get on to some Saints news. We haven't been on here in about a week or so since free agency began. Lots to go over. Let's talk about some of these moves the Saints have made so far, including bringing back their own and a couple of new faces. Obviously, the one move I feel like people aren't talking about enough that I'm actually pretty happy about is just despite his limits, I really do love the PJ Williams signing.
Absolutely.
He's just because of the fact that with the short salary cap and teams really had to make some tough cuts. The Saints just simply will not be able to afford a lot of luxury players. So to bring in PJ Williams, a guy who can play both corner and safety at around $1 million and change, hey, I'll take that. That's a really good deal to have, especially now with the cap as riddled as it is. So I love.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there. But I love these 1-year contracts, and especially when they're, $2.3 million for PJ Williams for one more season. I mean, whether he does good or bad, the likeliness of him coming back, especially if the Saints end up drafting, like I suspect, or I'm at least hoping for, 2 defensive backs in this draft, whether that be 2 corners, whether that be 1 corner, 1 safety, it's going to happen. So this gives them, flexibility. This gives them depth in this upcoming season, and he will be replaced eventually, but this year the Saints desperately needed depth and players and familiar guys for this defensive system that has not changed yet. And that's the thing about the Saints and why they've been so consistent in terms of roster outside of this season. And even though we've lost a lot of guys, not a lot of core guys, but the reason that we've kept so many of the same players is that Dennis Allen has been around. Obviously, Pete Carmichael and Sean Payton have been around for a while as well. So the overall play calling, the overall schemes and system, and the continuity of the entire team on both sides of the ball is not changing. So until that happens, the Saints are keeping the same players that they like to fit into the system. So I do like that PJ Williams signing. Also, of course, I can't remember if we talked about the Jameis Winston signing or not, but obviously we've talked about it before and how much we actually enjoy the potential that he has being the starting quarterback on this team. I mean, it was just around the same money that Andy Dalton got down over there in Chicago. So I love the fact that we exactly, and Cam Newton as well. So I love the deal that Winston signed. Pretty incentive based for the most part, which makes complete sense. I love the move, and I know you. I know you do too. I don't know. What do you think Winston is? Because he didn't win the starting quarterback battle in the regular season. Sounds like Peyton is going to have them compete, him and Taysom Hill. I know you want, I'm guessing you want Winston to win out like me. Do you think he actually does?
I think he will, and I think I think Peyton playing Taysom rather than Jameis, I think it'd be one of 2 things. I think Sean really just wanted Jameis to sit down and just soak everything in that he possibly could. This year.
He got to sit right next to Drew Brees on the bench while Brees was hurt and Taysom was starting. So that experience right there, that's a good point.
Yeah, and 2, I mean, you don't want to play Jameis up when Brees gets hurt because you saw him last year with Teddy Bridgewater. Teddy looked well, 5-0 in his starts. Sean said, "Hey, Jameis, just sit down and we'll bring you back. On a chill mill next year." Because I mean, the moment Jameis goes out there and plays, much like Teddy Bridgewater, he was going to get a contract from a team like Chicago or Indianapolis or, I think it was the Rams for all we know because they traded for Stafford. So
who else isn't? Yeah, I mean, probably not the Jets or anything like that. I don't know if the Falcons would want to. They're obviously going to be drafting young. Yeah, it's tough.
Carolina.
There we go. Yep. I mean, yeah, that's the thing. That would have been hilarious if they the season after they sign our other backup quarterback, they go with Bridgewater or with Winston. But that's a really good point, because Bridgewater balled out, cashed in real nice on that contract with Carolina, and Winston could have done the same.
And especially in a season where the cap was different, the Saints it had a team offer Winston. If they got no bidding war, I'm not sure. Despite Mickey and Kai Hardy's excellent salary cap maneuvers, I just don't know if a team. I don't know if New Orleans could have competed with any offers Jameis got had he actually gotten a lucrative contract.
Right.
And my other thing is, to Taysom Hill, I think Sean Payton really wanted to see what he had in Taysom Hill for 4 games. Because we know Sean seems like a guy who really is high on Taysom Hill. He's talked about it numerous times. Jay Glazer has reported several times that Sean Payton sees Taysom Hill as a legit starting quarterback in the NFL. So I think Sean really wanted to give Taysom a chance through those first, 4 or 5 games, if I'm correct. So I think it's going to be interesting. I think there is a legit camp battle. However, I think this is Jameis' job to lose. Like, if Jameis truly just gets beat by Taysom Hill, then, hey, kudos to Taysom, because he really did, show out. But I do think this is Jameis' job to lose. And I love, I think you saw the videos yesterday of him talking to New Orleans media people. And he broke down talking about, what Brees has meant to him in his 1 year. And how can you not root for a guy like that, right?
Exactly.
You really can't help but root for him and hope for the best, whether it's here, whether it's somewhere else. So I'm super hyped for Jameis, and I think this offense really would benefit a lot from a quarterback like Jameis Winston. I'm super hyped about it.
What a long way Winston has come from just a few years ago in terms of his relationship with New Orleans and the Saints. I mean,
about 2017.
The fans as well. Yeah, I'm talking about the W. I'm talking about that. And also, I'm pretty sure it was that same exact game too, where he got into that scuffle with Lattimore. Yep. And now, I mean, they're teammates. Who knows how long they'll be teammates for? Because that's the thing about the Saints and how they're creating cap space for this year. 2022 is, I mean, the TV deals most likely will kick in. The Saints, or the entire NFL period, is going to have a much larger salary cap than what is this year. But how badly will the restructures and or the void years affect the Saints' next cap space? Obviously, they're going to have a lot more room to play with. Are they going to be able to sign other guys for long-term deals? Like, if Jameis Winston balls out, leads us to, a pretty deep playoff run, and has a great year, over 3,000 yards, over 20 passing touchdowns, good accuracy. I mean, the Saints are going to want to sign him for a long-term deal, right? So, are they going to be able to beat out other teams for that? Because, it is just, he's only for 1 year, but obviously they'll have the favorites to re-sign him. But, I'm thinking way in the future, but so are you mentioned the way that they sat Winston to potentially get his contract in a better situation for the Saints and not so high like it happened with Bridgewater, because it's chess, not checkers. And then obviously you got the Saints signing 2 other players, brand new players. Alex Arma, fullback out of from the Carolina Panthers, I should say, not out of Carolina. And then Nick Vannett announced earlier today or yesterday. All my days are blurring right now, but he got signed to a 3-year deal. Veteran tight end. Who went to the Ohio State University, so the Saints continuing that trend. How do you feel about these signings?
Well, I think, it's really interesting because, you mentioned the Alex Amara signing, which basically signals the end of Michael Burton's 1 year here in New Orleans. I thought he was very, very phenomenal in his job. I think he brings a lot of versatility. You can do a lot with him. Not only in the run blocking game, but in the passing game. I feel like you can probably do a lot more with him than you would with your traditional fullback. And with Nick Vannett, he's actually excellent blocking tight end, so he kind of fills the role Josh Hill left when he was here in New Orleans. He was so good at that for as long as he was. But he has great hands. I believe he has very few drops. Don't know the number off the top of my head. But to pair him up with Trotman, okay, I can get behind that tight end 1-2 duo this year. So, great moves. They're not the sexy flashy moves we were hoping to see, but you got to realize with the limited salary cap and quite honestly, a lot of these veterans are taking these 1-year deals, but they want a fat 1-year deal contract. That's just something New Orleans really can't offer at this moment. So we should kind of gotta wait and see, wait for the pool to drop a little more, and then you can maybe see the Saints targeting some of these, lower risk veteran players who are going to be forced to take a pay cut because of the salary cap. But
right,
I love these first two moves, and they're not flashy moves, but they're moves that we can use to replace some of the guys that we lost this offseason.
Yeah, they're solid. And the fullback position for the Saints, now with Arma coming into the fold, has always been up and down. It's been a while since there's been, a truly consistent guy. Had John Kuhn cut and re-signed plenty of times. Of course, Malcolm Burton last year. So, we'll see how this goes. Vanette, I like, he's 6'6", 260 pounds. Arma is 6'2", 250 pounds. He's a good size football player himself. It's another more depth move for the Saints because it seems like Trotman's going to be tied to number one. Vanette's kind of going to have that Josh Hill role. And then Arma, replacing Michael Burton and going to be utilized, I think, very nicely in the Saints offense with the creativity they have. I think that he'll be used in a lot of play action with Kamara because, anytime you have like an eye set, especially with a guy of Arma's size, it's a pretty good indicator that you're going to run the ball. And the Saints could obviously use that to their advantage throughout a lot of games for the offense to get going. So I like the potential that he has because he's caught a few passes. He's been physical, but he was mainly used as a blocker there in Carolina. Started a few games, but former 6th-round pick, and Vanette is a former 3rd-round pick. So, decent prospects at their respective positions coming out of college. So, I dig the moves.
Yeah,
and then
I agree 100%. I was saying I agree with you, dude, because I was spot on.
Good. Yeah, well, I was about to get into some negative stuff, so I'm glad you cut me off because now we got to ease into it. We got to talk about the losses. By the way, shout out to Grind Hours Podcast and Joe Leo. Follow him on Twitter at NotTheFakeJLeo. I went on his podcast yesterday. It just dropped today. We talked about winners and losers of NFL free agency and then also discussed the Saints. More specifically, since he lives in New York and is a Jets fan, we discussed Sheldon Rankins and Justin Hardy going to the Jets. I think those are two of the biggest losses. Simply because, Rankins, we were hoping that he could come back on a pretty team-friendly deal, a cheaper deal. He ends up getting a 2-year, roughly $17 million contract with the Jets, so out of the Saints' budget, especially after they paid David Onyemata. And then Justin Hardy was the heart and the soul of special teams, and the whole team for the majority of the time that he was in New Orleans. Losing him also, I think, stings. Luckily, the Saints are able to develop a special teams guy, and it is JT Gray's time. But losing both of those guys was the biggest. But Trey Hendrickson going to the Bengals, we kind of knew that he was going to, eventually go somewhere. Mm-hmm. And Chris mentioned on the show that, he's kind of 1-year wonder. So it's going to be interesting to see. But he cashed in 4-year, $60 million deal with the Bengals. Emmanuel Sanders goes to the Bills, part of the Josh Allen offense now. Janoris Jenkins to the Titans. Josh Hill and Alex Anzalone both going to the Lions to play under Dan Campbell, who was, of course, an associate with the Saints for many years. And Jared Cook going to the Chargers. So, out of all those, what is the biggest loss, in your opinion? Which one surprises you the most? I was actually a little shocked Hendrickson went to the Bengals. Makes sense, though. But I wasn't thinking he was going to go there. I was actually thinking Hendrickson was going to go to the Jets instead of Rankins. But what'd you think of the moves?
I'll do you another one. I thought Hendrickson was a perfect fit for Urban Meyer down there in Jacksonville.
Ooh.
Me personally, because the Jags had the money, they're kind of retooling. Yeah, exactly. So I thought that would have made a lot of sense. Nonetheless, happy he got it back with the Bengals, teaming up with Von Bell. His former teammate. So I think the one loss to me that's going to hurt the most, I think for me it has to be Justin Hardy going to the Jets. You talk about a guy who, to me seemed like the real heart and soul of, heart and soul of the locker room, a real fun guy to be around. Also just a great person. You watch his interview with the Jets media, and they asked him, what makes, you so special, and he just got to point at his heart. To me, you need more guys in the locker room like Justin Hardy. So I think his impact's going to be felt the most in the locker room on the special teams unit. So And to me, the Janoris Jenkins, the Emmanuel Sanders, the Jared Cooks, those really didn't phase you all that much, just because, as Deuce tweeted out, a couple weeks ago, a lot of these guys were really here to try and help gear it up for one more run with Drew Brees. Now that Brees is gone, you can seemingly cut ties with those players and kind of retool. Janoris Jenkins, Emmanuel Sanders, Jared Cook. Those all guys are brought in for specifically to help Drew Brees get one more run at the ring. So we can replace those guys. That really wasn't a problem for me. I agree. I do wish we were able to have got Reagans back on a 1 year prove it type deal maybe. But the Jets paid him a pretty good money. So him and Hardy are going to go up there and try and retool that locker room and that culture, which I think they can. Those are two really great guys, from what I've heard from people. So
yeah.
But I mean, I'm hyped about the guys we brought in, and I'm super hyped to see the guys who left, see how their careers unfold for sure.
Same. And yeah, always seeing players go to other teams stings. Yeah, it is tough, but at the end of the day, they got to do what's best for them. And, especially in a year like this, the Saints can only do so much. So, you can only retain so many guys. But yeah, you said it perfect. We got to wish them the best and see where their careers take them on their new team. So yeah, good luck to all those guys, even Cook and Anzalone. Good luck to them. I hope that they do well. I really do. So
couldn't agree with 100% more, my guy. So having said that, we're going to take a quick break. Coming up next, we'll get into some Drew Brees talk. Of course, the all-time great announced retirement last week. Talk about that a little bit. Guys are listening to the Full Press Saints podcast. Alrighty, guys, what is going on? Alec and Dayton here in the midst of our next episode here on the Full Press Saints podcast. Dayton, I'm sure as the whole world knows, last week Drew Brees announced his retirement on Instagram. His kids put a little cute video out saying her dad's going to be home with them now. And you've seen all the support from former teammates, former NFL greats, even some celebrities like Ellen, who of course has been a Saints fan for as long as I can remember.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just get right to it. Let's just get some emotion, some feelings,
man,
about Drew Brees, because I mean, at least for me, and I know we're close to around the same age,
You and me, or you and Drew Brees?
Definitely not me. You and me.
Yes. Oh, I'm about to be 25. So
okay, yeah, 23. So
cool. Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
Man, I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about Drew Brees. I was like,
no,
what?
Definitely not. But at least I guess for me and you, most of our football lives, as far as the Saints go, has been about Drew Brees.
Yes. Absolutely.
And I was, 6, 7 when I became a fan in 05. So to me, as a kid, I just thought, oh, cool, go Saints. I never really thought if we were good or bad. Then quickly realized, oh, we're not very good. We haven't been very good for a long time. Like the, 2, maybe 3 playoff appearances in our entire history up until then, and only 1 playoff win in 2000 against the Rams. Sorry, 01, one of them. Anyways, so to me, Drew Brees has been my entire football life, my entire Saints life, football life. He's kind of the big reason why I'm doing, this podcast, among other projects I do. There's no way to describe what he means to me, along with tons of other Saints fans. He's kind of, to me, there's no athlete who means more to a city than Brees does to New Orleans.
Right.
And nor has there been a better free agent signing that's been more impactful with the team than Brees in New Orleans.
Thank you, Dolphins.
Yeah, shout out to Nick Saban and the team doctors in Miami. Y'all are some real ones.
Yes.
And it's crazy to think about that. Had Brees gone to Miami, how does that change college football?
Right. That changes a whole lot.
It's a whole domino
effect. Oh, Jinx, you owe me a Coke.
Because then you gotta think about it. Because had Brees gone to Miami, Sean Payton was very high on Tony Romo, and there was even rumors that he tried to trade for Romo before signing Drew Brees. So how does that impact Romo's career? How does that impact Dallas? It's a whole thing.
Romo would have actually been a Super Bowl champion. That would be the difference. That would have been the difference. I mean, Tony Romo would have actually gotten a Super Bowl as opposed to what happened with him in Dallas. That's one of the major tragedies in the NFL history, too, is Tony Romo's career. But, no, I mean, thousands of people are exactly like you and I who Drew Brees, and also for me, Reggie Bush, big reason I became a Saints fan when I was a kid. Especially the Brees signing me, he brought life back into the city, and it was apparent from year one. I mean, Drew Brees wasn't expected to do anywhere as near, I think, as good as he did in New Orleans. Mm-hmm. He was obviously a big signing for the Saints, and he was obviously a highly touted quarterback at the time, free agent, being successful with the Chargers and only being ousted because of Phillip Rivers' arrival. So it wasn't like he was some bum. He was in his literal prime age at that time.
And
And
it's just a little crazy to think about really quick. I believe it was Mike Silver and Jim Trotter of NFL Network that when all this happened, they said that, the word on the street was the Chargers were going to trade Phillip Rivers and roll with Drew Brees after 2005. And the only reason why they didn't play Rivers in that last game against the Broncos was because they didn't want to damage their trading goods.
Gotcha.
So think about that.
The injury happens. Yep. And of course, because that was the big reason why Brees was so cautious, and of course why Miami just didn't sign him, period, was because of that major concern with the shoulder injury. But after year one with the Saints, everybody knew how great of a signing that was, and then it just continued to get better, culminated in the Super Bowl winning season. So Drew Brees means so much, and he's not done with New Orleans. I mean, granted, he's going to be doing NBC play-by-play for Notre Dame. There's going to be Sunday night football night in America for NBC. Great gigs, by the way. I love the NBC broadcasts. I love their presentations of the NFL from top to bottom. They also do college sports very well, of course. So, great spot for Brees to be in. But he obviously will be living in New Orleans for the rest of his life. I'm sure he'll be doing work down there, whatever it can. So, it's just the end of his football career. And, we knew that he was going to retire. I think that there was obviously 5% in our minds of there's a possibility he does return, but we figured that he was going to be gone. So it's crazy how big this actually does hit us in the feels when we knew he was going to be retiring. Like, we knew this was going to happen, and when it was officially announced, it was really put you into a different world, and it was surreal. So I think that was the toughest and also craziest part for me of this whole experience. It's
damn, it's really over.
Yep.
And I know we all thought that after the Bucks game, but don't lie. We all held up. I know we all said we want Jameis or Russ, but deep down, we all had the small part of our heart going, "Come on, Drew, one more ride, one more time. Let's go try and get you that ring." We all thought that. Nobody said it.
Right. He's recovered from bad games and played phenomenally many times in his career. So, there's always that part of you that says, he can do it again. He can come back. But I think his kids, and he said on the Ellen show, last year in the 2020 offseason, he asked his kids, he was like, what would you say? How would you feel if, dad retired? And they were like, what? No, what? We wouldn't be able to go to the games or go to the facility. And he was like, okay. Because he was really considering hanging it up. And then he asked them this offseason, and it's actually really touching that they had somewhat of a change of heart and said, when he asked them, they said,
they're going to be at every game they could possibly go to.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh yeah. For free for the rest of their lives. But we wanted to do something even more sentimental and more in remembrance for Brees, and count down our top 5 favorite Drew Brees moments. These are in order, but all of these, it doesn't mean, all of them are more important than some, but these are our personal top 5 favorite ones. If you want to let us know your favorite Drew Brees memories, tweet us at SaintsFPC. Let us know. We would love to hear and retweet and talk about ours. But how'd you want to do? Did you want to go 5-1? Did you want to? I figured we would alternate. We each do 5, each do 4, or.
Yeah, I agree. Let's do that. And then, do you have an honorable mention or no?
No, you go with your honorable. I wrote down 5 because, and that's what I was kind of getting at first, is that there are so many great memories of Drew Brees, and I cherish all of them. So it was tough to even pick 5. I had to leave the honorable mentions out just because I felt the 5 were pretty solid. But I would love to hear your honorable mentions to start us off.
Well, I'll just say this. I think the honorable mention, it's not really like a memorable moment. It's just, this is the best throw I've ever seen from Drew Brees in his entire career. I remember it so vividly too. All right, so let's go back to 2011, which, by the way, should have won Offensive Player of the Year, MVP even.
Yes.
But 2011, divisional round game against the 49ers. This is the best throw I've ever seen. Right before the half, the Saints are clawing their way back to the game. Brees throws a beautiful strike to Marcus Colston. And when I say corner, I mean, like, dude, like, it is, Colston's on the edge of the white. Like, that pinpoint accuracy was there. Drops it right in his hands, over the shoulder, in the sun, with, I believe it was Chris Culver all over him. Man, it was such a beautiful throw right there in the breadbasket, and like to this day, that to me is the best throw I've ever seen from Drew Brees. Yeah,
I should have won that game as well.
Yeah,
that's another heartbreaker.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
I guess one of my honorable mentions, because I didn't mention it in my top 5, but his pre-game pump-up speech. I mean, that's what made him legendary back in the 2009 season. That's what got him, nationally recognized across the entire country, across the entire world. That definitely helped his case, and he played great football. But let's go. Let's start this off. We'll say our favorite moment 5-1, alternating, and we'll do about a minute each for each memory, and we'll go off. I will just start out real quick, just because mine is really, really fun. I think number 5 for me. Spin move rushing touchdown on the Falcons. Week 3, 2018. Are you kidding me? How does somebody 17 years is 17th season in the NFL do a move like that, spinning out 2 guys going in for a touchdown to tie the game up, which the Saints ended up winning in overtime 43-37. That touchdown got them into overtime. One of the most athletic plays I've seen from a quarterback, especially of Drew Brees' age, ever. And it was against the Dirty Birds, the rivals. Feel-good story, and that was, of course, the season the Saints marched to the NFC Championship game. Should have won a Super Bowl that season. That will forever, obviously, haunt us as well in some way, shape, or form. But that play, that also began the downfall of the Falcons. Like look at where they're in rebuild mode right now. And it's because of 2-3 really, really bad seasons down there. And that spin move will always remind me of that. So great play. That's number 5 for me.
Okay, great. Okay, cool. I'll go with my number 5. 2009, Week 12, Monday Night Football. The Saints, currently, they were 11-0 at the time, hosting the Patriots. It's Brees, Brady, primetime football. And Drew Brees absolutely just it beats Tom Brady in primetime football. He finished 18 of 23 for 371 yards, 5 touchdowns, no interceptions. And to me, I feel like that was the game where people really kind of looked and oh crap, like this Saints team really could go all the way. This guy Drew Brees really could lead them, and maybe he is that quarterback. Like I feel like that was the game in 2009 that really kind of put the stamp of legitimacy on the Saints. And look, he 5 touchdowns, no picks, completely outdid Tom Brady in that night. So that was fun to watch.
Yes. You can go again. We'll do like a little snake thing. You can go with your 4th. But yes, obviously anytime beating Tom Brady is great for
exactly
Drew Brees memories. Yeah.
So number 4 for me, 2 years later, 2011, the Saints are hosting the Atlanta Falcons Monday Night Football again, where Brees really, tends to shine. That was the game, of course. Number
4.
Yeah, okay, perfect.
I love
it. Perfect. Of course, the game where Brees broke Dan Marino's all-time passing yard record in a single season. Look, I mean, at that time, nobody had done what Brees had done. Like that was before 5,000 passing yard seasons were a norm in the NFL, right?
Mm-hmm.
So for him to go out there on prime time, and I could say that's my damn quarterback who just broke that record.
Yep.
That's something I thought I would never said about the Saints. Before Brees got there, realizing how bad we were. So,
yep. What a record to break.
Yeah, exactly. So to see that happen, and for Mike Tirico to go, and there's the record, and then he just stopped. Like Mike Tirico is so great because he just stopped and lets the fans, and he lets the fans and the PA just take over. And
yeah,
man, that was special.
That was absolutely one of the best calls, one of the best moments in Saints history. Of course, it was a touchdown to Darren Sproles on a little angle route there, right near the goal line. And which is funny because before the game, the referees were discussing with the Saints and Brees, and they were like, and the NFL representatives too, they were talking, what happens if Brees breaks the record on just, like a 2-yard slant or something like that. Like, are we going to stop the game for the like, how are we going to do this? And Drew Brees found a way to solve that because he broke the record on a touchdown, which, automatically stops the game. And crowd was able to celebrate, team was able to celebrate. Of course, he ended up repeating that same kind of thing, which, of course, is further down on my list. But yeah, great moment. Touchdown to Sproles to break Dan Marino's all-time single-season passing yard record. That was in 2011, which leads me to my number 3 favorite memory, Drew Brees. Him winning the Triple Crown in 2011 was my third favorite. I mean, most passing yards in a season ever. He broke the record, over 5,400 yards. 46 passing touchdowns, which led the league as well, which is just ridiculous. Anything above 35 is just out of this. That's over 2 touchdowns per game. And that's crazy. Brees did play in all 16 of those games. Back in 2009, when he had a great season, he only played in 15 of them. Other than that, he's played in just about 16 seasons up until he got hurt a few years ago. But that's irrelevant. But he also had 71.2 completion percentage. How does he not win MVP that season? I mean, come on. Triple Crown winner doesn't happen too often, or didn't happen very often back then in football with that ridiculous of numbers that Brees had. Should have won the Super Bowl that year. Brees should have won the MVP. But that's my favorite memory because that's forever etched in the NFL history books is winning the Triple Crown and breaking Dan Marino's record. So you love it.
I agree with that 100%. So my number 3, it's a particular game. And this is a game that, it had no real big implications or anything, just a regular season game. But to me, this was the wildest final 2 minutes of change of a football game I've ever seen. And I think you know where I'm going to go with this. 2017, New Orleans is hosting Washington. They're down by what, 15?
It's 31-16, yeah.
Yeah, with about 2 minutes and change left to go in the game. Brees fired a quick start to Josh Hill. They get the stop defensively, and then Brees finds Kamara for the touchdown.
A juggling catch by Kamara. That game is what made me fall in love essentially with Alvin Kamara. That catch to get the touchdown, that game, that performance by him and that offense. Oh, what a game.
God, and I think if I'm right, I think Joe Buck said that Brees, finished the game 13 of 13.
Yeah.
And to me, that was the, holy S moment. Holy crap, this is the GOAT right here. I don't want to see any slander on this man's name because he just, a game we should have lost. I was so pumped. Yes. And just, I was like, wow, let's effing go, dude.
One of the best comebacks ever.
Exactly. It was so crazy. That's just my favorite Brees regular season game. So yeah, I love that one.
Love it. What's your number 2?
All right, number 2. I feel like we both have to say number 1. I feel like it.
Does it have to do with the Super Bowl? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. No, of course. I figured we did too. Yeah.
So look, for me, I kind of cheated a little bit. I jumbled all the records Brees broke together in this one. So I'm talking the Johnny Unitas most games touchdown pass that streak. The most when he passed Brett Favre. Peyton for all-time passing touchdowns in 2019 or was that 20? 20.
I think it was 2020.
2020, and then 2018, of course, when he broke Peyton's record for all-time passing yards. All those were at the Superdome in front of fans. And
primetime
football, the nation's watching. And again, just to sit there and go, that's my quarterback who just went out there and did that. That's just crazy. And I think he did it with mostly one team his entire career. I won't lie to you. When Brees broke the record for passing yards, I cried. There were tears shed when he did that. I was like, man, that's my damn quarterback. Wow. I'm witnessing history right now, and that's my quarterback when it's all said and done. So
yeah, great moment.
Yeah, to me, all those records are huge, but the one in particular I remember is him breaking the passing yards, just because I cried. But hey,
yeah,
who didn't cry? Who didn't shed some tears?
That's my number 2 moment as well. The touchdown to Traquan Smith. And Traquan Smith, now, no matter what happens, he will forever be tied with New Orleans history and more. Yeah. And So I love that about him. But yeah, breaking the all-time passing yards record, Monday Night Football against the Redskins, touchdown to Traquan Smith. Again, Brees finding a way to just be able to celebrate the perfect way. The touchdown stops the game. He's able to get the ball, get the certificate. He's able to see his family down on the field. Has a very awesome talk with his all three of his sons, and of course his daughter and his wife were there as well. So just fantastic moment. Just, I mean, that'll forever be probably, I mean, outside of winning the Super Bowl, which we'll get to next, that is like the most significant moment in New Orleans Saints like history.
Oh, yeah.
I think like, you know, something that big, and to do it in the Superdome Monday Night Football, just incredible. And yeah, that leads us to our number one memory. And I think, yeah, we both have, I don't know if it's the same exact one, because my specific memory, of course, our best memories, the Saints winning the Super Bowl, that 2009 season, culminating to the win down there in Miami against the Indianapolis Colts and Peyton Manning. Now that Super Bowl, obviously the offense played well, but that Super Bowl was capped off because of the pick six by Tracy Porter. Like that is the game. When you think of that Super Bowl, that is the game. It wasn't a touchdown by Brees. It wasn't anything spectacular by Brees, even though he had a really solid game and won us the game. It was that pick six by Tracy Porter. So for me, my favorite memory of Drew Brees of all time, period, and I think a lot of people can say the same, especially because of how viral it was after he won the Super Bowl, standing there on the big stage in the middle of the field, holding up his son Braden, who is now, you know, old now. You know, he's 13 at this point. As a baby, or, you know, as a little child, with his headphones on because of how loud the stadium was, holding him up with the confetti falling, like that. That is the picture of, you know, Drew Brees' career. Like that right there, being the family man, being the first Super Bowl winning quarterback in the history of New Orleans, doing it in his fourth season with the team. Just words can't express how that moment means to so many people. And, you know, specifically that, you know, after that happened, life was fantastic. I remember, just for me, life was fantastic because of the Saints winning. And every time I looked at that picture, it was a reminder that the Saints did it, and it was because of that guy right there. So that's my favorite Drew Brees memory of all time.
We have the exact same moment here.
Oh, I love it. I stole your thunder, I'm sure. I didn't think you were going to say the same exact one, so I said a lot about it. My bad.
No, you're perfect. It was perfect. It was awesome. And I think you pretty much nailed everything about what that moment meant, not only for, you know, the fans and the Saints, but also we look at we look back on Drew Brees' career. I mean, what's he going to be known as? A Saint and a father. And to see the kind of dad he is now with his kids, and you see all the fun posts he puts on Instagram now, he just looks so happy to be with his kids. And like that, you know, go back to 2009 when he had Braden up. And there's no words to describe what that meant to him and to Brittany. And that's an iconic picture. Like when people roll Super Bowl footage of, you know, all the Super Bowls, if it's not the Porter pick six, it's the picture of Brees holding his kid with the confetti falling on them both. And look, you know, like I said before, people, you know, you ask older Saint fans who actually watched a lot of these bad teams. Before Brees got there, nobody would have told you they were going to be playing in a Super Bowl anytime soon.
Right.
So, again, just, you know, to accumulate that 2009 year with the Super Bowl, I mean, man, their words cannot describe what that means to, you know, not only us as fans, but think about the city and the region, because, you know, at the time Katrina hit, I mean, people were questioning Brees' bounce back just as much as people are questioning New Orleans itself, the city bouncing back after Katrina. So
it all culminated together.
It all came together, and it just made so much sense to kind of feel like it led up to that. From the Gleason block in 2006 to the Super Bowl in 2009, that's what it led up to. So,
yep.
Man, I mean, there's just no real word. It's more than a football when we talk about Brees and the city of New Orleans. It always has and always will be.
You love to see it.
You do, and like you mentioned, and like he mentioned in his video, in his letter to the city, he's not done with New Orleans. I saw a cool project. Don't even think about it or realize. I believe it's Brees, Demario Davis, and Josh Norman. They're actually teaming up to try and turn. Did you know there's a Six Flags in New Orleans?
Not until I read about that project he was doing.
Yeah, exactly. So there used to be a Six Flags park in New Orleans, but after Katrina, it was just so damaged that they really didn't think it was worth rebuilding. Well, now Brees teaming up with Damar Davis and Josh Norman, they're teaming up to try and rebuild that and turn it into a learning center for youth, for the youths. For my New Girl fans, that's a reference. The youths. So that just tells you the kind of guy he is, and his commitment to that city. It goes long and beyond football. So, just again, words cannot describe what that man means to us in that city.
I'm trying to get this. Hold on, trying to get the Six Flags music going real quick. There we go. I hope it works for them.
Yeah, you hear it. That little old man dancing.
Yes. You love to see it, but yeah,
you really do.
Great stuff. You know what? I know we were gonna talk a little bit more free agency, but I actually think
the perfect way to end it.
I think this is the perfect way to end the. Shout out to Drew Brees. Shout out to everything he did in New Orleans. I think it's a great way to end it. We'll talk more free agency. Next week we'll have an episode for sure. But,
maybe some more news, some signings, maybe.
Exactly. But I think this was great to talk about. And guys, let us know if you have your favorite Drew Brees memories at Saints FPC. Let us know, or you can tweet us at Dayton_Brown_. And Alec is at AA.
At AA Solace SALAS 98. Love to hear from you guys and your input. And again, I think we'll end it with that. But I'll just say, be respectful, love everyone no matter what.
Take accountability for your actions.
Yes. And just, if you really are a Saints fan and you really do love Drew Brees, it's real simple. Just treat people the way you'd expect Drew to do it. And that's the right way. The respectful way. And we'll leave it with that. It's a great way to end the episode. So,
yep.
Like I said, follow us on Twitter at SaintsFPC. Give us some of your favorite Brees moments or guys you would like to see the Saints target. We'll talk about that next week. And Dayton, as always, it's a pleasure doing this with you. Do it every week.
Yes, sir.
And we'll see you guys next week. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at SaintsFPC.
Who dat?